Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our Egg Timer podcast.
In today's podcast, we're covering the live-action adaptation of Clifford the Big Red Dog.
Now, once again, another live-action adaptation of a beloved book series that bites the dust.
Yeah.
I'm just going to be honest. It was a fun movie, but it never felt like Clifford.
Yes, and before we get into that, be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification button to get some future podcasts and all the Paws videos.
And be sure to follow us under Paws On Animation on Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest.
Yes.
And feel free to share. We appreciate you so much.
Yes. So, yes, I did want to see this movie for a while until they had the trailer, and it was obvious they were doing something completely different from the original books and the animated series.
And so you know that we are really familiar. Clifford, the Big Red Dog, is really Rascal Shalavan. She had almost every single book that was ever made, and also watched it on PBS.
Yes. So when they had the trailer, like I said, it was portrayed very differently from the show in the book. It didn't really have that wholesomeness that the original sources had. Now, yes, it was pretty much, a family movie. It was relatively safe. There was no swearing, strong swearing, no violence or anything like that. It still stayed a family fun film, but unfortunately, they just turned Clifford into a generic animal kids movie. Mm-hmm. And by that is like the same things you see in lots of other movies where a kid has an extraordinary animal and they have to keep it a secret and someone wants to take it away. That is Clifford, the Clifford movie, mm-hmm. unfortunately. And they did almost nothing different with anything they were given.
They did do one thing different that I did like. Every other animal movie we've seen recently has dog catchers and animal catchers that are horrible, mean, and cruel. But in this movie, I have to say that the people that came to get the puppies before he was found, the animal catchers, were very kind, not only to the mama dog,
that's true,
but also to the puppies. That was different.
That's true. They have basically changed the entire origin. Instead of being picked up in an apartment and picked up by Emily Elizabeth, he was a lost dog, became a stray after the catchers came and took the rest of his family. They didn't find him. And in here, the whole thing's supposed to be Clifford grew out of love. And here he grows by magic and sadness. And I'm not saying that just to rag on the film. Watch the film. The guy that finds Clifford and gives him to Emily is supposedly magical. And
he is in Hollywood because it was John Cleese,
yeah.
We love. So, magical actor, not magical character.
Right. And Clifford supposed to be growing like slowly but surely out of love because she gave him so much love. They really had no faith in the dog even living because it was a runt. But Emily loved him so much. Not only was he healthy, he grew so big that he would never be sick or hurt. In this movie, however, they've used Clifford as a grievance device because the mom isn't around too much. She has no friends. She's not popular. She has really rough time.
And so they live in Harlem in New York.
Right. And she grieves to Clifford and she doesn't want anyone to take him away. So in this version, he grows so they can't get rid of him. So it kind of, at first it sounds like, oh, so no one can harm him. But no, they still can. But the problem is that they really miss the endearing part of it. It's out of love, but it's not the really strong bonds of friendship. It was more like, okay, sad to let him go, and that was a way to force him to stay, and it felt really off, at least to me.
Now, and here Tony Hale plays yet another villain. He's the villain science lab owner who wants to take his DNA and make a master breed of animals.
I think the growth thing's a growth hormone.
Right, and he claims that they're gonna feed the world, but really he wants to take the giant food and sell it for maximum profits. You know, the maniacal laugh.
Yeah, the old cliche.
Villains, yeah.
Yeah.
He plays it yet once again.
Yeah, and honestly, there's not too much to say. They go through all the beats of an animal kids movie. They never go to the island where, you know, he gets so big he can't fit in the city. He goes to the island. They bring up the island, but instead of it being a good place, it's treated as if this is the last resort and only he can go and no one else, and he's gonna be isolated, which is not what the story had. Emily's family still went with him in the book, but in here they make it sound like only Clifford can go. He's gonna be by himself, and he pretty much stays in the city the whole time, and the people love him, and they just kind of make room for him somehow.
And one of the biggest disappointments, I'm sorry, in this movie is learning that the dog was digital entirely. I thought maybe they had gotten a live, you know, a real dog and digitally colored him red and was making him look big, until Rascal said, no, he's just like the lions in the live action Lion King movie, and I was very disappointed.
Yes, they did make it look realistic, but that's about it.
Now, one last thing I want to point out, and which for me was really exciting, is I got to see Paul Rodriguez, who used to star in this very old show called AKA Pablo. And I've been asking, where is he? Where is he? Where is he? He's a magnificent comedian, a wonderful human being, and it was so great to see him in this movie.
Yes.
So, if you've seen Clifford the Big Red Dog, or like Rascal, Clifford was your childhood, let us know what you think of this movie in the comments. Drop us a line. If you haven't seen it, good for you.
Oh! Oh, and yeah, and they didn't even add Cleo and T-Bone in here either.
Yes, none of his friends were there.
No, and he couldn't talk. So, if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for watching Rascal Entertainment.
And I'm Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.